Hello, thanks for clicking on episode 27 of An Earful Podcast. This episode is with Luke and Lee of LOWLIVES. Their latest single, Hey You, is out now. You've probably already heard it. If you haven't, why are you living under a rock? Go listen to it. Daniel P. Carter debuted it on his Radio 1 rock show, and it was the rockest record of the week. They go into this conversation talking all about it and much more. Unfortunately, I wasn't here for this one. I was dying of the flu and coughing my guts up. And because I'm jealous, I've decided to insert myself in the intro and outro, just so you can hear me for a little bit. But I'll let you get to the episode, but before I do, if you fancy a festival in September sometime in Torquay, Burn It Down Festival, you can get 20% off your tickets using the promo code An Earful Podcast. Bands that are going to be there, the likes of Dinosaur Pileup, TRC, Black Futures, Ithaca, Fakovi, Shapes, more that I can't remember right now. So go get your tickets. It's going to be good. We're going to be there. That's all I have to say for the intro, really. So I'll let you get to this conversation with Luke and Lee of LOWLIVES. Enjoy.
Alright, so we are backstage at Manchester Academy, the larger building, and we're joined here, the giant thing, and we're joined here by Lee and Luke of LOWLIVES. How's it going, fellas?
Good.
Wicked,
very good.
Stoked to be here.
Stoked, looking slightly tired.
I'm tired, but Manchester suggests two things to me. It's always a wicked crowd, and then after you've had a good time in that wicked crowd, you have a good time at Abdul's.
Are you being paid by Abdul's?
I'm not being paid by Abdul's.
Like the amount of times we've heard it, you've at least told about 10 people about
I've
Abdul's
for sure
today.
told about 10 people.
Dude,
ever since probably 2008, earlier, 2005, when I first started coming up here with Beat Union. I remember going to Abdul's, and I remember particularly them wrapping the chicken kebab in fucking a naan, not like a pita.
All right,
like,
yeah.
You know, like they normally put in a pita bread.
Yeah.
So yeah, the naan, fuck, it's a game changer.
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, of course you are.
Sorry, I'm swearing.
He's
already
four
into
down
it.
in one sentence.
Sound like Les Johnson, don't I? So this podcast is brought to you by Abdul's.
Sounds good. Our first sponsor.
Manchester-based kebab house.
Sorry, yeah.
Well, this road is known as the Curry Mile.
Is it?
Yeah, it legit is.
We've
It's
got
for
one of them in
students.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
We have the King one in London, so Brick Lane.
Oh yeah.
We didn't go.
Yeah, but everything was invented in Birmingham.
Yeah, it was too far. Heavy metal was invented in Birmingham.
Tikka masala was invented in Birmingham.
No way.
Stratford Road was.
Tikka?
Get your Google
Sweet,
up.
sweet tikka? No way.
We love a tikka. Sorry.
Yeah, we're a tikka ran.
We was discussing, me and Mike were discussing before, the irony that last time we met you was back in 2012, back when we was in college and we went watching Prophets in the weapons store.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, so slightly further down the road where the bigger venue is, you popped around the back and we spoke about the building behind playing improvised jazz for like the past 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember that show. I remember. So my first ever show with LostProphets was in that room.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So when I let me just fact check myself. Yeah, it was. And so basically we were in that room. That was my first gig. I tried out with them in the States, and like I kind of knew them all anyway.
Yeah.
And that was the first gig. It was my first gig on like Molded in Ears as well. I was having a terrible time, and I was telling Lee this story literally a week ago. My anxiety level was like off the scale. I was like, had such a bad sound check.
Really?
I was like, the only thing that can ruin your life, I think, in a show is like terrible monitors.
Yeah.
The crowd can suck. Like you can have gear problems, but if your monitors, like from my perspective, if your monitors are bad, game over. And I remember having a really bad sound check and just being like, I might do a runner.
Didn't you call your dad?
My dad, no, my old man was at the show. I was like, let's get out of here. He's like, fuck off. I was like,
Let's bail. Let's
get
just
out of here.
sprint.
But but it was actually one of only 2 shows that I've played perfectly in my entire life. Yeah, that
Really?
one, and then my last show with No Devotion in New York. Those are the only 2 shows where I've
Are
played.
you still
and I couldn't-
non 100% with us yet?
No.
God damn. Tonight will be the
Yeah,
I mean,
tonight's the
it's
night.
not. It's
Tonight
not
is
like,
the night.
I'm talking about self-grading. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm like, just dropping sticks and fucking up beats. It's more just like where you rate yourself on consistency. There's a fucking gang of footsteps coming down.
Here we go.
Welcome, Harry.
Mr. Harry Radford.
We might be speaking to you in a bit. It's like,
You have to go
Through this door, and then in the elevator, and press LG. Oh, that takes you through front of house. Sorry, mate, but I couldn't. So don't even worry about it. We'll figure it out afterwards.
it's all right.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing
See,
about.
that's about this venue.
Yes.
Everyone's
That's the great
lost.
thing about being on tour with wicked people. It's just a constant laugh. When I ran upstairs just then,
Yeah.
he was doing a little filmed piece, and I was like, fuck, sorry, man. Now he's just come down here, like, yeah. So,
All right, so you're on day 4 of the tour now?
Show
4.
Yeah.
Show 4.
We've
And how's it been
in
so
the
far?
country
Days
for
in.
about 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Really that long already?
We had rehearsals. We did rehearsals in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And
A lot of gear pickups.
lot of gear pickups, and then and then there's been a couple of days off on the tour. So
How's it been for you so far?
It's been great. I'm having a fucking nightmare at the moment. Just everything I own is breaking. Of all the thing you like, this is geeky. If you know guitars, you might know.
I'm a
But,
guitarist,
like,
so yeah.
Okay, you know, like your fucking power that's underneath you've mounted it to your pedal board underneath.
pedal train.
Yeah.
Pedal train power.
Yeah.
Took a shit the other day. I was drunk. I was opening the van. My pedal board fell out. It's in a pelly case, so it's like well protected.
You spoke really quick when you said I was drunk. Let's just make sure that
I was
is
battered.
clarified.
And I opened the van, and normally you're supposed to open the back of the van and carefully stuff might have come loose. I just opened it, and my pedal board just flew out. I didn't think anything of it, and I was trying to fix. I had wireless problems as well, so I was trying to fix my
that's the
wireless.
worst.
Didn't even try to fix everything else. Then plugged it in at soundcheck in London last night, and it only powered up half my pedals, and it won't power up the other half. So
Every night he's had technical problems.
Yeah, every
I
night
had
this
that
time.
a while back with my pedal board, like pedal train. Like, you remember this practice like ages. We were actually rehearsing for, I can't remember what it was, but it just wouldn't work. The only thing that would work was my phaser.
weird.
And I was like,
At least
I was like,
What's been really good though is I messaged pedal train instantly. I was like, hey.
what the fuck?
Like, and I literally sent it to help@pedaltrain.com.
Right.
I've had 3 people get in touch with me, and then the owner of Pedal Train got in touch with me. We'll move mountains and we'll send you one. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was like, I'll look on eBay. I need one now. I can't just run a one spot for like 10 pedals.
Yeah.
So I looked on eBay, and my eBay America, it says England 1. There was one available in England on eBay.
Yeah.
And I messaged the guy. I was like, hey man, whereabouts are you based? He was like, I'm playing a show at Islington Academy tonight. I don't know where you are in England, but we're playing all around England. I'd love to come and get it from you. And he was just like, I live in Holloway. And he was literally 3 miles away from the venue. So I literally he was the only one with one for sale in England. And I just went up to Holloway, picked it up last night.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Got a kebab. Now I've put it on my board, and now we're doing it.
So hopefully show 4. I'm not even going to say it.
No.
Because it will just
No,
jinx us.
don't
But
do it.
You know what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's just a ripper. We're all tired. We're all running on 5 hours sleep because of staying at Shakespeare's house. This cottage was literally built in the 1700s. It's older than Jackson Steve's country.
Yeah, exactly. 2 of our members are like, as soon as we got there, we were just like, oh, cool, let's go to fucking bed. Went to bed. They were just like walking around doing video tours to send to their friends.
Are you the only 2 English members of the band?
Yeah,
Oh
we're the only
my
2
God, that would be
English ones.
well good.
So
We
they
got
were like
Texas,
freaked out.
We got Texas
And Pittsburgh.
and Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So what was it like for you guys moving over to the US then? Like, so coming from the British like rock scene, going to the US, was there like much difference with it?
I actually miss the English rock scene because there's like, it's weird. Like if you put on Radio 1 now, I know, but it's still like, there's still some guitars there.
Yeah.
Like American radio, there's no guitars anymore. Like it just doesn't
Really?
exist.
K-Rock has loads of guitars.
K-Rock does, but it's like...
K-Rock's the biggest rock radio station in the world.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I
I
feel
actually
as though...
think it's the opposite. I think Radio 1
Really?
doesn't really have too many guitars these days.
Nope.
Well, there's some different ones. Like, I mean, you got Annie Mac spinning like Biffy and stuff like that, you know. And obviously you got Dan just repping. Dan. But like, I think for a long time at least, I remember playing Radio 1 Big Weekend in Hackney, you know, with Prophets, and I think it was only us and 30 Seconds to Mars on the bill that had guitars. Like,
really?
Like, what the fuck is
I know
that?
they've got no guitars.
Yeah, they've definitely got no.
It's just Jared and the drummer
on stage. It's just
together.
them two now.
Yeah.
Oh,
No way.
okay.
And it's like, oh, that's new. So, Gage, speaking about Radio 1, so Hey You was played,
Yeah.
which is sick.
You
missed it, didn't you, originally?
Yeah.
They played it twice.
It's the funniest. Like, I mean, that whole thing. I was just like, how does this happen? Like, you know,
I thought you were joking when you sent it to us. He's playing it again. And I was
for
like,
any
fuck
listeners, for any listeners that don't know what we're talking about, basically, we got debuted with our new single "Hey You" on Radio 1, on Dan's show, Daniel P. Carter, the Radio 1 Rock Show, and he graciously gave it the world debut, you know. And basically, I was sitting on my couch listening to the show, streaming it on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I saw my son he's 2, he woke up from a nap, and as I approached him coming down the stairs, I realised he'd taken off his nappy, and he got a ball of poo in his hand, and he was sliding down the stairs, and I have a real problem with poo. I can change a nappy, no problem, but that being said, my wife knows. She's very good about like, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of this. She was out doing the shopping, so I was kind of like freaking out. I called her, I said, please come home now. She came home, I was like, there's crap all over the house, and she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, it's the literal term,
shit.
and there's literal shit all over the house. And she's like, how's that happen? And I was like,
Didn't he scoot down your white carpet stairs?
Scooting down, it's not white carpet, but he was scooting down the stairs. Disgusting. Anyway, so I get back and I realise like, oh, it's played. Twitter's blowing up. I was like, I missed it. And so Dan, I then open my phone and see a text from Dan. This is like 45 minutes later after cleanup.
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, his text said, you're on the radio, old son. And I was like, oh, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. I was like, I sadly missed it. I was like, my son managed to get shit all down the stairs. And he's got kids, so he's like, don't worry, he's like, I'll play it again. And I was like,
oh, what a dude.
And I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah, he's like, I'll play it again in a minute, don't worry.
Then he told the whole story on air.
Told the story on air. I was like,
And then played it the second time in the show. But you made it
I'm
like,
like,
it was like Rockers Record of the Week. We didn't know anything.
Yeah, we didn't know
We were
anything.
literally like, hey Dan, like, we love you. Can you play our song?
He gave us, Rockets
the best,
record,
man.
and I couldn't believe that. I was blown away. So yeah, we're very grateful and lucky to have that opportunity.
That's definitely the dream in it for us.
Yeah.
With our moment, like
Keep smashing, man. Like,
yeah.
That honestly, like the amount of times I've like been ready to burn all my drum kits and go and get a job. Well, I did go get a job for 4 years, but you know, the amount of times I've thought, yeah, I can turn my back on music, it'll be fine, and then I'm like, I need you.
I still love you.
I still love you. That's exactly what it is, man.
I was going to get to that. So, how do you stay like enthusiastic? I know it sounds really depressing when you state it that way, but how do you stay motivated about music? Because obviously you've been in various bands. Same to both of you. How do you keep it going and like, right, we're going to do this next band, or it's going to be this project, and you throw your all into it?
I'm going to let you take it, but just before you start, it's about the people, because I did 4 years, and the phone did ring. Like, what do you think about this band? Would you maybe want to try out? And you know, I don't think I dealt with a lot of the baggage from other stuff in the past. And so I was just working a job. I have 2 kids. I was thinking more about like paying the bills. And so I was like, one day I like promised myself, I was like, if I meet the right person, I'll just know it. You know what I mean? I'll do it. And then
It was a very random occurrence too. I quit my band and I was doing session work, and I was I was miserable in my old band, and it was my band, and I wrote the songs, and I was still miserable about it. So I left doing that, and then I did some session jobs, and then I was just like, this sucks. I'm not happy. Yeah. So I started writing, and then literally you just messaged me on Instagram. You commented on
we followed each other.
Yeah, we followed each other. We were like, oh, we're both English living in LA.
And we're both,
really
we're both
know
car nerds. We're both like into cars.
Oh,
and
sick.
So, you know, I've got like an old BMW, and he used to have an old BMW, and I just happened. I never like post a picture of my car, but I just happened to post a picture of my car in the petrol station because the sunset behind it was nuts.
Yeah.
And he commented, "Man, I love a Bimmer." And I was like, "Oh, fucking, you drive Bimmers?" And then it was kind of, we both slid into the DMs like a couple of sluts. And I was like, "What's up with your band then? What's going on? Doing a new album?" He's like, "Nah, I broke up, man." He's like, "I'm doing a new band now." He's like, "Oh, we might need a drummer actually. What are you doing?" And I was just like,
fuck off.
I was like, I'm not really doing music. I was like, I've just written some of my own stuff, but you know, I was like, let's have a beer, let's meet up. And so we met for a beer in this pub called the Dark Room on Melrose, and I was like, fucking, he's ace. Other than the fact he's from the Isle of Wight, he's great.
Other than the fact he's got web toes, he's fine.
I'm from Birmingham, I can't talk, right? But yeah, so and then we just started writing, and Hey You was actually the first song we wrote together.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Shit, that really was. I totally didn't realise that. I remember that was the first time because you posted a thing on your Instagram of you like mixing it, and you were like, "This is the most stoked I've been on a song in years," and I was just like, "Fuck yes, this is fucking awesome."
Yeah.
Shit, it was the first one we've sat and worked together on. Yeah. So yeah.
So this one's for you, Lee. I know when you said when the Defiled split, it was more due to like financial issues. Well, is that what you posted in the status?
Not really. It was to do with that as well.
Yeah,
We were moving labels, and there was loads of ins and outs, but it was just, I kind of just fell out of love of doing it, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I was writing all these songs that sounded like Low Lives, and I was trying to make them sound like the Defile still, and I was just like, man, this just doesn't feel right. So we were moving labels, and then it just turned into a nightmare, and I was just like, I just couldn't be bothered anymore. I know that sounds utterly awful, but I fell out of love with it.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you think the industry has changed a lot more now, though, a bit more friendly towards upcoming bands also that want to get into the industry?
I think,
especially financially wise and that.
Not really, because I just don't think anyone gets paid anymore. I think now, I think we were at that end where we're just like, shit, bands don't make money anymore. But now I think the new people have just accepted, we don't make money. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah, we don't make any money at all. I mean, we got a pocket for stuff. Luckily on this tour, the fees are decent, but we're still going to eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I feel like, I think a perspective that new bands don't have, or any bands actually, is like, a lot of people don't want to put their hand in their own pocket. And part of the issue with that is that, think about it, right? You're expecting a record label technically to invest in your business. Like, your band is your business, right? And so if you're not willing to put $5,000 in your own business, but you expect some other label to be like, oh yeah, we'll just sink all of our money into it, you know what I mean? So to a certain degree, I think that, it's reinforced for us, like, we got to get our hands dirty and get our hands in our pockets. We all have jobs, you know what I mean? But then also on the flip side, I think, in answer to your question, I think, does it get easier? It doesn't. It gets harder. It gets much harder. When you're in my position or Lee's position, you've been through a few bands, you kind of collect friends, and you're kind of like, your contacts book gets a little bit bigger each time.
Yeah.
So, along with that, there's a lot of like fake people, but then you also meet a lot of real people, you know what I mean? And some people, like, Dan Carr will move the earth for you, you know what I mean? That guy's moved mountains for us, and he didn't have to do anything.
No,
He's
totally
got, like,
not.
50 bands a day probably smashing his inbox.
Oh, gotcha.
The fact that he's given us a chance, you know what I mean? It's like,
no, totally.
So, yeah.
So I know we're short on time. So we'll usually do the two.
We got like change
absolutely fine. So we used to have two main questions we ask every podcast of each guest. So the first one is pet peeves. So what pisses you off the most? The rule is that you can pick whatever you want. Doesn't have to do with music or horror or anything else like that. Just pick something, rant about it, and we'll go from there.
People talking in the fucking movie theatre.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't care. Like, I can talk to my wife in the cinema and it won't bother anybody because I can whisper in her ear and I'll be like, oh, that guy's from this movie. no one's going to hear nothing.
No.
Right? Sorry, that was some really freaky ASMR for you cats. But, you know, basically, like, I don't know what it is, man, but like if you go to a movie with old people, it's worse because they're all like, "Hey, Maureen, look at that guy! Isn't he look great?" And you're like, "Shh!" You're like, you know, it's brutal. That's one of my pet peeves.
I have an addition to that where it's just fucking nachos in the cinema.
That's such a stupid idea.
What is it Tom Segura said?
Segura.
You choose the loudest snack that you could possibly
Not that,
eat in a
it's
movie.
the smell. The smell just makes me want to gip
brutal.
slightly.
Yeah. And popcorn, the smell of that is like, I want to go to the cinema.
Oh, cinema.
Yeah.
Connotations. Lovely. Fucking nachos. No.
You can get White Castle in my local cinema.
No way.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
White Castle is a East Coast burger company that for some reason is now coming on the West Coast. So.
Mine is people not putting their hands up driving wise. When you pull into, say if it's like a two-way road,
Yep.
and then you pull over to let a car come past you, if they don't put their fucking hand up, whew. And in America, it doesn't. No one fucking does.
Hold on, no. That's California.
In California, really, the rest of the yeah, I guess it's very much a California thing. They just don't put their hands up.
Ever.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
People not hold. Actually, when you hold a door open for someone and they just walk through it, that's my biggest pet peeve. When you could just go, when you're just like, "You're welcome," just shout it at them. That
the other Matt who's
infuriates
not
me.
here fucking does that every time. He's just like, he'll let someone go, and then they go through. He'll go, "You're welcome."
Insane that people just walk through when you're holding the door open.
Just fucking say thanks.
Yeah.
Just fucking.
It's insane.
Second one being, what's your favourite scary movie?
I'm going to be a weirdo and say that I actually don't watch well, it depends what it is, what the category is, because I don't watch mad gore stuff anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
Something happened to me about 5 or 6 years ago where I was just like, I really don't like this. It's too real. And I was like, I always used to watch mad stuff when I was a kid. I remember when I played in Amen, I saw that movie Irreversible, which is one of the most insane movies I've ever seen in my life, and you can't unsee it. And I wouldn't recommend watching it to anybody, actually.
No.
But it was insane, but it didn't bother me. But now, it's the turning point for me. A friend of mine was in a movie, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was a movie about it was kind of like a modern day Exorcist. I remember watching it. It was like possessed people in it, and I was just like, whoa. I was like, this is crazy. So yeah, I'm going to think about the name of what that movie was, and I'll let Lee go. I think.
Mine is obvious and very cheesy. It was Blair Witch. Scared the fuck out of me when I was a little kid.
Good choice.
Yeah. I watched it again recently, and it's absolutely fucking terrible, and it's not scary in the slightest. But I was a kid when it came out, and I snuck into the cinema to watch it. I smoked a massive bucket before going in. And then I literally just sat there just like... And where I lived on the Isle of Wight at the time, the road that I lived on was like a fucking country lane.
Yeah.
And I had to and there was one lamppost in the middle of it. And there was one lamppost at one end, and then my house the other end, and there was one in the middle, and it was basically just sprint to that lamppost, get your thoughts together, and then sprint to the next one. It ruined me. I couldn't walk near hedges. It was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, that's a horror movie in the making itself.
Exactly. It was,
I was the absolute same with The Exorcist.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't sleep for a while. When I was
Jaws freaked me out for a long time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I thought Jaws was going to come out the toilet kind of thing.
It was more, I remember I watched Jaws, and I was around about the same age as the kid that gets eaten at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
And I remember dreaming of the exact same scenario, and I was just like, holy shit, it's me!
No, I kind of, Blair Witch is not good now.
I think it's the
didn't
realism.
age very well.
Yeah.
It's that
I know what you
realism,
mean.
this, is this
Could
real
happen,
shit? Yeah, it's horrible. Don't like it at all.
I'm actually going down the rabbit hole right now. So
Who's
my friend Simon Quarterman, he's in the TV show Westworld. But
sick.
He's the one that hangs dong in Westworld, isn't he?
he was in. I'm trying to. The Devil Inside.
Oh, that film is good.
That was his.
I saw that at the cinema.
That was his
good.
breakout movie. And
No
I
way.
saw it. I saw it in the movie theater, and I was like,
I went to the premiere of that.
"Fuck!" It was terrifying.
Yeah, in LA. That was great.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
The Devil Inside.
That's absolute madness.
He's a Brit as well.
And he hangs dong in Westworld. Fake dong or real dong?
They're all real dungs, I guess.
I don't know. Sometimes they have a little step in.
There's a TV show called Westworld. I don't know if it's out over here, but
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like nudity in it. And there was a scene where he had his pecker out, and I texted him. I was like, "Sweet dick,
Sweet. Loved your dick, bro. That was great.
Great acting.
No twinge, no nothing. Imagine that, being on a program of that size and being like, my banger's going to be out right now. This is going to be horrible.
And it's all over Sky.
Everywhere for every future girlfriend and mum and everyone to go.
Seen it.
Google it.
I seen it.
I hate to be that guy. I would rather just be the drummer, but right now I've got to be tour manager. We've got changeover in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
We'll
we're
call
wrapping up
this
here.
short.
Sorry.
Well, otherwise, fellas, absolute pleasure. Thanks for
a lot.
coming on.
having
Thank you
us.
for inviting us on, and I'm sorry it
absolute
took
pleasure.
so long to get
No
to
worries.
today.
It's absolutely fine. Cheers,
All right.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was episode 27 with Luke and Lee of LOWLIVES. Go check out Hey You right now. As you've heard, Daniel P. Carter played it twice for them. So give them some recognition and stream the shit out of it. And if you fancy a festival, once again, you get 20% off your tickets at Burn It Down Festival. It's going to be a laugh. Great bands are there. Go check it out. If you like what you hear, go tell us about it at An Earful Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever the rest is, Instagram, all that. Give me some gratification in life. Tell me I'm not doing this for no reason, and it's all pointless in the end anyway.